Welcome to London. This is Doug Crawford here for Countdown. And look, your mob are over here. AC/DC, the lads themselves, chatting away in a corner here at Covent Garden. I'm going to get Angus and Bon to tell me about your tour over here. What have you blokes been doing? Can I get you to come down and have a look at our most attractive part of town?
I thought this was it.
How's the trip been going though? Because we get so many good bands over here. You haven't received a lot of publicity. Has it been 50-50 or has it been a good trip?
No, it's been excellent. You know, all the gigs we've done have been, well, received better than we expected, and some of them, like, at least more than half have been incredible, you know? At least like back home, you know?
But the thing about British audiences is they go along, they see the Rolling Stones 1 second, the Beatles the next. They're broken up.
We're better. Yeah. Who needs them? They're all, you know, they're sort of last year's model, you know? The people that come to see us, you know, we just give them the show we give the Australian people, you know, because, and they took on to us without publicity, you know. The publicity caught up to us, not us to it. You know?
Are you rich though? I mean, are you making the bread?
Yep. Sure are.
I just bought Big Ben.
If you Poms learn to pay people, we get rich real quick.
I like it. Where do you get the time though to write the music that you make? Because you're always on the go. I know you've been working away on this tour every night. You've been up there doing it. When do you get time to actually make the records and write the music?
Hotel rooms, you know, wherever.
Just after our stuff, you know.
After hours.
Yeah. You sort of got to make the time, you know. Things fall into place by themselves. And sometimes.
But what about the original ideas though?
You got to keep your eyes and ears open for lines and words and all, you know, and ideas and just pictures, you know. And so.
And kangaroos.
Kangaroos, yeah. And you're right around it, you know.
Where'd you get that banana?
Oh, well, actually, the fruit shop.
I think it's about time we stop this endless chatter on Countdown right across Australia.
Yeah.
Got some decent music from AC/DC. Can you introduce it for us?
Jail break.
Well, he was a difficult man to find in Australia when they were out there recording, and he was pretty difficult to find here. But welcome to the program, Bon Scott, AC/DC.
Oh, thank you, Ian.
Now, in fact, the last time I saw you was when we did the 100th show over here, when you went out to Halliford Studio. That was a good day, wasn't it?
Well, it took so long to get the show together. It was a really good day because the bar was open the whole time.
Yes, that's right. Yeah. Yes, well, we were thinking about the bar. But listen, seriously, what are you doing at the moment? What is the group doing? You've just come back from America.
Yeah, well, we're doing an English tour at the moment.
Yeah.
The last gig is about 3 days at Great Yarmouth. I suppose you've all heard of Great Yarmouth. And we just finished.
No, I haven't.
Oh, you haven't?
No, good place.
Oh, well, let me tell you about Great Yarmouth.
Oh, no, that's not.
Carry on.
Right, keep going.
Okay. Just finished the European tour and spent 7 weeks in America. So we really are, yeah, getting around.
Right, well, let's go back about a year ago when I was over here doing interviews and that. And at that stage, in the music papers especially, like Sounds, NME, Melody Maker, you were never out of the papers, right? There was always a story about you.
Yeah.
You were filling out the marquee every night, and you were sort of what most people termed as the first of the punk bands to emerge. Now, since then, the Sex Pistols and so on, and now you've got, you know, Every Man and His Dog, with, you know, similar names, that turn themselves as punk rock bands or a new wave band. You've been away, you've been to America, you've broken into the American charts, and I've got my hand over the mic again. You've been away, you've been
shouldn't have the mic down there, Ian.
I know. You've been away, you've been you've made the American charts, you're very big in Europe. What does it feel like now to come back with all of this new wave sort of going crazy in England? And are you pulling crowds still?
Well, we're pulling bigger crowds than they are, you know.
Yeah?
I mean, we've got our following here. It's not new wave and it's not punk. It's just people that like our band, our rock band, you know. And like we honestly thought that the punk and the new wave thing might sort of spoil a bit for us, but it hasn't at all, you know.
Yeah.
It was a big fad, like it's just like anything else, a big fad for a while, and there's those that are still hanging on to it. But the main thing about it is that it gives rock music a real kick in the guts, you know.
Yeah.
And we sort of, even though we started the whole thing over here, like we played here before the Sex Pistols were even sort of, you know, thought of.
Yeah.
And now we've always been there, and people are beginning to realise that now they want more than just someone up there screaming, you know, anarchy and rape and this sort of, you know, crap, you know. And we're it. Yeah. We're doing it right.
Now, the thing is that you've always been a very tight rock and roll band, but for some reason you've concentrated a lot on the live performances, especially in England.
That's all there is.
But there's never been a really definite single released on the English market, or there's been some confusion about the single. Why is this?
Well, singles for a start.
And I might add, just before you answer that, because I want you to answer another one, there's a little bit of confusion of what's happening in Australia with your singles too. So could you clear it all up, Bob?
Okay, now we'll start with England, you know.
Mm-hmm, right.
Now, singles bands over here, or bands that release singles that take off, without already having established a road following, are going to suffer the same effects as has Sherbet, you know. Yeah, they had a big record over here, and their English tour consisted of one gig, you know, because no slant on them, but they're a record band, you know, and they had no road following, so no one comes to see their shows, you know.
Mm.
So we have the following. If we release a single here now, it would do really well. Excuse me, and we'd also have our following, you know.
Well, why isn't there a single release now, or you know?
Well, we don't write the singles, you know. We don't write.
What?
We don't write singles.
Of course you do.
We have done in the past, but we don't write something you know, specifically for a single.
Mm-hmm.
No way. You know?
But it's common
See,
for any group to bring out a single.
We're an album band. We're a road album band. You know, singles don't mean a pinch to anybody. You know, in our band, there's no sense in them. Like if some station picks up, like the BBC, which they probably never would, you know,
Yeah.
then it might get played and it might you know, make the charts. But there's no way we do it intentionally to make a single.
Well, does the same go for Australia?
Oh no, Australia's a different market altogether. You know, and there, if there's a likely single on an album, it'll be released as a single. But over here, the album's the main thing, you know.
Mm.
And if a station picks a track that they sort of like to play a lot, well, it'll sell the album, not the single.
Yeah. Now, with Mark leaving the group, how's the new member fitted in?
Oh, it fits quite nicely, yeah. It's
Yeah.
pretty good, yeah.
Did he alter the band in any way, the sound or anything like that?
Well, he's a guy who's been playing for a lot longer than Mark ever played. Like, you know, Mark played with us for 2 years, probably been playing bass for about 3, whereas Cliff has been playing for about 12 years. You know?
Yeah.
And so his technique is sort of far, I'd say, advanced you know, to what Mark's was, although Mark's for the rock stuff was cool, you know. Cliff's just given us more scope. Like there's more he can do with the music. It's in between the guitars, like Angus, more Malcolm and Cliff. I think could be done before.
Now, you've always, since you've been away, you've always gone back to Australia to record. Why is that? And I believe you're going back again to record.
Well, you know, it sort of coincides with a few things, like holidays, you see your mum and dad, you know, and all your mates, and George and Harry are there, and the studios are there, and they know the studios like the back of their hand, you know. And it's just been a perfect setup, and we can spend unlimited time in the studio. It's all there. There's no need to go anywhere else, because like if we say we went to say Miami, for instance, you know, we'd have to hotel it and have to buy a studio time, like you might get 8 or 10 or 12 hours a day or whatever, you know, which is quite expensive, you know. There's just no point in it.
Here we are at Mascot Airport to say farewell to AC/DC. First of all, over the last 6 months, it's just gone like that, bang into the charts, and a lot of pop critics were surprised. What do you think you owe your success to?
There's nothing to do with us at all. It's just our success is due to the taste of the public.
Well, you've just lost me for words. No, but I mean, it was a hard climb for a while, wasn't it?
Yeah, we worked $80 a night for a while, but Angus sort of, you know, put his got his shorts rolled up a bit and sort of whack out, you know.
So what's going to be released in the UK
It's a combination of the High Voltage and the TNT album
together?
together.
As one album.
There's one album called High Voltage.
And have they chosen a single for that yet?
Yeah, One Way to the Top. That's released today in England.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, whose idea was it to put the bagpipes into A Long Way to the Top?
George
Sorry?
Young.
Yeah.
He just said, you know, there's a big break in there. Can you play bagpipes? Why he thought of bagpipes, I'll never know. You know? And I sort of played a bit of recorder before in Fraternity and other bands, you know, and I sort of knew how to blow and finger, you know, so I just... What else can you say? So I, you know, played them.
Now, it's obvious that the band itself hasn't really styled itself off anything else as far as Australian bands are concerned, and it's just delivering rock and roll, hard rock and roll. Did that sort of gradually come as the band formed within itself?
Yeah, well, we've always been a rock and roll band.
Yeah.
We, you know, like, that's always what we played, and that's what we always want to keep playing, is rock and roll.
Now, with the confidence of topping the charts in Australia now, and the success that this gradual follow-up that's happened, and now it's become a monster in Australia, are you going over confident that you can take on an English market?
Yeah, well, we are confident.
Yeah.
We're not overconfident, but we are very confident.
It's a long way to the top if you want to rock and roll.
This can only happen on Countdown.
Singer of the rock group AC/DC was found dead last night in a parked car in South London. Scotland Yard said the body of 30-year-old Bon Scott was discovered by a friend who had left him in the car hours earlier to sober up after a day's drinking. We talked to Rick Davies of Capital Radio in London, and he filed this report.
The friend who discovered Scott being unconscious, Alistair Kinnear, said that he met up with Bon to go to a music club in London, the Music Machine, last night, but he was pretty drunk when I picked him up. Then Scott apparently got there and they drank several more whiskeys. Scott's known for having been a heavy drinker, and also in 1973, when he was still in Australia, he was forced to stop singing for a while because of his drug problems. So yes, the suspicions are that this was the result of some heavy drinking.
And that was the death of one of what in my mind is one of the greatest Australian rock and rollers we've had over the past 10 years, and I'm talking about the lead singer of AC/DC, Bon Scott. Not only was he a friend of mine, and it shocked me deeply that he died in London, but I think it's a great blow to the Australian industry, and especially to AC/DC, in the fact that the boys were breaking it so big in Europe and England and were about to become one of the world top supergroups in the world in 1980. The loss of Bon is something that you can't express because it's something personal within yourself. The only thing I can say is that I've known him for a long, long time. I knew him when he was in the Valentines in the 60s. He's always been one of the greatest showmen I've ever met. He had so much energy, and his loss, well, I just can't. I mean, what can you say? Except that we, in Countdown, we owe Bon and the boys a lot. They started off with us, and here is a tribute to Bon Scott and to AC/DC from Countdown and from the Countdown viewers. Bon Scott and AC/DC with Jailbreak.